fly-by-night businesses, and they're and it's kind of hard on people trying to start a new business in the state or in the area, and I'm wondering how that could change so that these people could get loans to start a new business.
I think it's a great question, but it's almost like the question you start asking at the federal level and maybe at the state level. In the banking system, you know, it's a very difficult time, and we all know as we drive through our communities and out in our industrial parks, we see boarded up buildings that are closed. If you guys want to take a crack at that, go ahead, but it's a very difficult and a very broad question.
I'll give you an example. The federal government has an SBA loan program where you borrow 90%, and the local bank comes up with another, the individual comes up 10%, and the bank process the loan. Well, a lot of banks are not wanting to be part of that process if that loan goes bad, because that's a reflection upon them in the process of being a mark on their record if the loan goes down. So banks are being criticized, and also being reviewed more seriously. It's been a flip of lending money, overspending at the federal level as well as the local level of banks. And so now that they've gone from a lot of banks saying, we're not going to even process an SBA loan unless you have 20 or 30% down. And so you must have a good business plan, but right now banks are saying, we may give you a loan if you have 50% equity. So my suggestion was to create a nonprofit group to help revolving loan fund up, say, for 3 to 5 years to help the gap of, say, if you have 20% and have a good business plan, they may come up with another 20% for you to help with the SBA loan, for example, or through a conventional loan. A lot of banks would have more access or be willing to probably finance a project if you have more equity involved. And maybe the revolving loan fund idea of a nonprofit organization that would come forward to do so would be a big help to spur expansion, and that expansion creates jobs, of course.
I don't know what the specific question is.
The lending, I guess, is the lending you're asking for, right?
What is the specific question?
Well, they're kind of holding businesses back from expanding and what have you because they aren't loaning money for these people, you know, these companies. And that's one of the things that are holding back, I think, us getting more jobs in the area.
Okay, so I guess just a general commentary on that situation. This was obviously a similar situation that we were facing 2 years ago when I was in the Assembly, and I'll just speak briefly about what kinds of things we try to do to solve that. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of what the problem is, you know, there is capital out there, there's people that want to have access to the capital. There are certainly banks and financial institutions, credit unions, lending authorities that want to connect the dots to get those dollars, to get that capital into the hands of good businesses. But then you brought the point about how it should go to the fly-by-night operation, which should be good investments. Okay. Well, one thing that we did when we were in the Assembly, of course, we could do this at a larger scale because this was at the state level. From the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, there was bonding authority. There's a number of bonding authorities given to the states. The problem that we had in Wisconsin is because of the number of counties and how it's divided up, they took that whole pot of bonding authority, divided up among 72, and so there were really small counties, for example, Wood County or Greene County or Green Lake County, that couldn't access it because the amount was very small. What we did is we passed legislation that empowered the legislature to corral all that bonding authority into one pot, and then allowed companies and businesses around the state to bid projects. And there was one company in Wood County near Wisconsin Rapids that had this great business model. They were ready to hire 600 people, but they couldn't access the capital. They had a great business plan, but they couldn't access the capital. So that was a case in point, a specific case of how the state got involved in a very positive, constructive manner to pass a law to consolidate the bonding authority and to allow this company to take advantage of it and to create 600 jobs. So I think the lesson here is whether it's at the state level, federal level, or local level, as long as those tools are available, and whether it's a county executive, a governor, a state legislator, to have those tools available to provide for those particular businesses.